Jai Gurudev. Jai Masters. It's one thing you begin to notice as you grow. And the reason you notice it is because things quiet down. And when things quiet down, you see underneath them. And then you see underneath them. Then you see underneath them. And you see what's going on underneath that's causing what's happening on the surface. And one of the things you're going to see is what are called spirals. When it's really noisy, if you're drowning and you're splashing around, you can't really understand what the water is doing. You can't understand where you are. You can't understand how deep anything is below you. You're just freaking out and splashing around. That's how most people are a lot of the time. It's not comfortable inside. It's just not. It's not comfortable inside. There's outside and there's inside. And inside can get very uncomfortable. Insecurities, guilt, fear, anxiety, tension, self-consciousness, embarrassment. There's a lot of cute little things going on, aren't there? Like little fish swimming around in there. And we try hard not to have that going on inside by trying to create situations outside that will make it easier for us inside. I'm a terrible person, which I don't know why you bother coming back out here, because I think that's a cop-out. I think if you need to do things outside to make it okay inside, you failed. No matter how good you do, you failed. Because the truth is, it's not okay inside. How do I know? Because you're having to do things outside to make it be okay inside. That means it's not okay. Do you understand that? That's the difference between shallow spirituality, kind of like getting by, and deep spirituality. Deep spirituality says, I want to be good inside. I don't need people, places, things, money, finances, jobs, and different events going on. I don't need to have things my way. I don't need to make sure nothing wrong happens. There is nothing going on outside that should have any effect, on what is going on inside of me. The worlds are completely different. This world is not this world inside is not attached to that world outside. It's an independent universe. It's an independent world. If I want to be happy, I just decide to be happy and be happy inside. But what if something happens outside that other people have trouble with? I don't have trouble with it. Why? Because I said so. It's that simple. It's like if you wanted to be nice inside, you do the work that's necessary to make it be nice inside. I'm telling you, it can be so nice inside, just waves of joy, waves of love, with nobody around. You go in your room and sit down, and you can't do anything because you're filled with love, you're filled with joy, you're filled with bliss, you're filled with ecstasy. To make sure we're talking about the same thing, take the highest inside you ever had. You do have high inside sometimes, right? Somebody says they love you, you win the lottery, get a job that you've wanted really badly, you get a new car. There are times somebody compliments you. There are times it's nice inside. Multiply that times 100,000, have it going on all the time. That is what it is supposed to be like inside. And no one will tell you that. Period. For every single person. Period. No matter what is going on outside, your inside is independent of what is going on outside. So, I'll prove it to you. Watch. Somebody walks up to you, you're not feeling so good, feeling a little insecure, walks up to you and says, oh my God, I've always been embarrassed to tell you, but to me you walk on water. For years I've looked at you and I melt every time I look at you. Okay? How you doing inside? Careful, because that person who just did it to you, right, is somebody you just do not like one iota. They're a stalker, and it's just not anything, you don't have anything to do with, okay? They got no good intentions, right? And they said that to you. You doing good inside? No. Somebody that you really like and wish was interested in you walks up to you all of a sudden and says that to you. How you doing inside? I see. So it's not what's happening outside that changes what's going on inside. It's your relationship to what's happening outside. Do you understand that? The exact same thing that turns you on freaks her out. The same thing that turned you on yesterday turns you off today. You just heard one more piece of information about the guy. Get away from me. Right? You're just not paying attention. That's what I mean. It's so noisy that we don't pay attention to what's going on. It is not the outside that is determining how we're doing inside. It is what we are preconditioning about what we want to be going on and don't want to be going on, which are inner states of being. What you want and what you don't want, they're not your socks. They're your thoughts. They're your concepts and views and opinions and preferences, right or wrong. They are things that are going on inside of you. Depending upon the mix, the interface, the interaction between what you have decided you want and don't want and what is going on, that's what determines your inner state. And that's why when I say to you, and I like to use shock therapy, that the outside has nothing to do with the inside, that'll freak you out, okay? You don't see that. Why? Because it looks like it does. Of course it looks like it does, because you're not paying attention to your part in it. And your part in it is to decide how I want it to be and how I don't want it to be. And I guarantee you, if you decide how you want it to be and it starts to happen, you're doing good inside. And if you decide how you want it to be and it's not happening, you get depressed inside. You feel left out. This is not working. Why do you always get the short end of the stick? To understand that. And if you decide you don't want something going on and it starts going on, oh my God, hell is breaking loose in there like razor blades. It's totally uncomfortable. And if you decide you don't want something going on and it's not going on and it's not going to go on, you feel, what's that R word? Relief. In other words, you feel good inside. You're doing this. You're doing this. You are determining your inner state by setting up these preferences, by deciding, I want him to walk up and say something nice to me. Okay, good. Go say it, then dream about it, then tell everybody you know about it, and meditate on it and try to attract him to you, and then have it happen. My God, your heart's going to blow open, your mind's going to burst, you're going to be the happiest you've ever been in your entire life. You're going to fly 80 stories high, all right? Decide you don't want that person to walk up to you, and do everything you can to keep them away. When they even take 2 steps towards you, your heart starts hurting, everything starts getting weird. Do you see this? You are deciding how you feel inside. That's the silliest thing I ever heard of. Okay? You are determining the state of your inner being. Why? Your inner being is independent of the outside. The outside world is made of atoms. Your inner being is not. It's made of thought vibrations and emotion vibrations. They are inner states. And people don't understand the interaction between the inner states and the outside world. Why? Because they're drowning. If I have pain inside, if I'm scared inside, if I'm insecure inside, I don't want to hear this. I just want to fix it. If I'm drowning, I don't want to hear about the physics of water and why it splashes the way it does. You understand that? Or the respiratory functions of a human being and what happens when water gets in the nose. I don't want to hear about it. I'm not interested. I want out of drowning. How about you? Okay? That is what's going on inside. I don't care. Just fix it. Do you understand that? That is the general attitude of what goes on inside of most human beings. I need to get it the way I need it to be so that I can be okay. Leave me alone. And if you do it the way I want you to, you fall in my friend category. If you don't do it the way that makes me feel good, you are not my friend. And if you do it the way it makes me feel bad, you're my enemy. And that is how you decide your friends from your foes. It has nothing to do with them. It has to do with how it makes you feel inside. You know, what's amazing, right, is even sacred things, like you walk up to a painting, and when you took humanities at school, they taught you that this artist stole patterns, and techniques from Monet or Renoir, right? And you walk up to this beautiful painting that everybody thinks is beautiful, and you don't feel so good about it, because your mind tells you it's a, plagiarism. Okay? You are doing this with every single thing there is. You are predetermining within your mind, with your preferences and views and opinions and likes and dislikes, beliefs and concepts, these mental states, when they interface with reality, create different vibrations inside. But the beauty of this is, I'm not blaming you, the beauty of realizing this, which very few people realize, what we just talked about, ever in their entire life. Their life is all about getting it the way they want and making sure it's not the way they don't want. That is how almost every single person lives their entire life, right? How do I get what I want, and how do I avoid what I don't want? And we're very busy. But if you catch on to what I just taught you, and if you'll pay attention, you'll see it, that you are determining how things affect you by your preconceived notions, by how you think about them. All of a sudden, I've empowered you. You realize I don't need people to be a certain way to be okay. I don't even need someone treating me a special way to feel love. I don't even need the job to be giving me exactly what I want in order to feel inspired. I can feel inspired anytime I want. I can feel love anytime I want. That's how it should be. It's mine. It's my heart. It's my heart, right? Your arm, nobody determines what your arm does. Nobody determines what your leg does. Believe me, no one determines what your mouth says. Okay? It's yours. You can do what you want with it. Right or wrong. Right? Your heart. Why not? Why's your heart not that way? Well, why can't you say to your heart, okay, time to feel love? And it feels love. It's obviously capable of feeling love, isn't it? It does feel love sometimes, doesn't it? But it's conditional. It doesn't feel love all the time. It only feels love if the right person says the right thing at the right time when you're in the right mood, then it'll open up. If the wrong person says the same thing at the wrong time in the wrong way and you're in the wrong mood, it closes. All right? That's just like having no control. To me, that is like having no control of your arm. If I woke up in the morning, my arm was doing this, I would not like that. I would do something about it. I wouldn't just go to school. All right? I go to a doctor. Why can't your heart be open when you want it to be? Why can't you just say, time for love? All right? Well, you have a mind, right? Why can't it be quiet when you want? Okay, mind, bye. Be quiet. I don't want to hear about it. I'm telling you, you're capable of this, but nobody will tell you that. And because the mind doesn't get quiet, it complains and is disturbed. And because the heart doesn't stay open, it goes anywhere from not so open to really closed, and you get all depressed and so on, to opening sometimes and then closing back again over the same thing. It's crazy. And no one will tell you that it is not supposed to be like that. Period. I'm being very strong with you tonight, all right? It's not supposed to be like that. Your heart is yours. There's nobody else in there. There's no laws of physics. There's nothing. And you have the right to have an inner state any way you want. You want to be happy, be happy. You want to feel enthused, feel enthused. You want to feel inspired and can't wait to go to work. Oh my God, I can't even wait. You can't hold me back, all right? Go ahead, do it every day. But what if I keep doing the same thing every day? Enjoy it. Get excited. Get inspired. Right? Why not? The alternative is no fun. So this is the truth. But like I said, it's not a truth that people talk about. It's not a truth that people understand. Which would you rather do? Win friends and influence people, or feel ecstatic all the time? It's like, that's the difference between people who think the answer is outside to try to get the world the way they need it to be, so when it comes in, they feel better. I call that indirection. You're not working yourself directly, right? I can't get my heart open, but you can. If you'll wear what I want you to wear and say what I want you to say and be the way I want you to be when I want you to be that way, you have the key to my heart. You think that's romantic. It's not romantic, right? It's addiction. It's weakness, right? It's your heart. It should be open. That doesn't mean you're a hermit. If your heart is open and you feel love, share it, by all means. But don't need things in order to open your own heart, just like I don't need things in order to move my arm. It's mine. Does anybody understand this? All right. And the same thing with your mind. Does your mind ever bother you? Of course it does. It bothers you all the time. In fact, most of my lectures are about that because I need people to understand. Your mind is a bully. Your mind's the biggest bully that ever lived. It just tells you don't look good. I don't even go. I don't even bother. Oh, come on, you got that zit on your face. Don't, just go away. Stop it. I don't want to see anybody. It talks like that, doesn't it? Right? Don't take that test. Don't go out. Don't give a public. Don't go in class. Don't talk. No, don't talk. You're just mess up. They're gonna laugh at you. All right? No, call in sick. Ooh, it does such weird. You gained a pound. Oh my God, you're getting fat. Oh my God, this. You went to lunch. Oh my God, there's ketchup on your pants. I can't go back to work with ketchup on my pants. Right? What if anybody sees it? I go, what in the world? I burped. Oh my God, I burped. Oh, I hope nobody heard me. They're talking. I bet they're talking about it. That is how your mind talks to you, isn't it? Wow, isn't that fun? No, that's not fun at all. It's mean. It's not nice. Why? It's bad enough other people can do mean things. Why do I want to do mean things to myself? It's the funniest thing I've ever heard of. And don't tell me your mind doesn't talk like that. All right? If you pay attention to it, you're going to see generally it's not very nice. It's not saying nice things. All right? It's your mind. Well, it's like if I go into your house and you're playing horror shows on TV all day, right? And you tell me I'm scared. Well, no wonder you're scared. You're playing horror shows. Yeah, but that's what's on. No, that's what's on that channel. You can change the channel. And believe me, you'll be much happier if you change it to a channel away from the horror shows. It's the same thing with your mind. I'm going to get this through. It is your mind. There's nobody else in there. Why would you let your mind bring you down and say mean things to you and mess you up? To me, the favorite, and I'm going to move on to talk about the heart, I'm going to talk about the mind. My favorite discussion to talk about your mind is as follows. Have you ever noticed that your mind sometimes bothers you about things you did in the past? Even 20 years in the past. Now, of what use is that? Seriously, of what use is that? It's over. It's done. There's nothing you can do about it. Why do I want this? What if you had a person next to you who walked around with you all the time and whatever you were doing said, oh, my God, you can't buy that. You can't buy that. Why? Why? I like it. You can't buy it. Remember what you said to your mother 20 years ago? All right? That hurt her so much. You don't deserve that. You can't do that. Well, you would never let that person stay in your life. But you let your mind talk to you about the past and things that bothered you. I would never let my mind do that. What is the purpose of it? None. So what you realize is no one has talked to you like this. No one said it's your mind. You can do whatever you want with it. You don't do whatever you want with it. You let it do whatever it wants. To me, and this is what I started this conversation by saying, there are spirals, and you can go up or you can go down. And as it gets quieter, you see what's going on. And then you start to spiral in a high direction. But what, to me, to let your mind do like this and be on its own and just say these different things, which I'll explain to you in a moment, why it says what it says, it's not broken. You let that happen. There is a sort of a default mind that if you don't take care of it and work with it, it's going to get negative. And I'll explain to you why. But to me, it's exactly the same as driving a car. And I mean, I'm serious, exactly the same as driving a car on the LA Expressway at 5 o'clock at 70 miles an hour and taking your hands off the wheel and jumping in the back seat. Would you do that? Then why do you let your mind do whatever it wants? It's like it crashes just as often. Do you understand that? It causes as much trouble as if you left that car. I mean, the car's going to go somewhere. It hits a bump in the road, it goes here, right? It tilts over here. Another car, whatever it is, the car will react to the environment outside of it. That's what your mind does. Somebody walks up to you and says, oh, my God, are you sick? No, I'm not sick. Oh, well, you don't look so good. Thanks a lot. I mean, that's just for the rest of the day, you're depressed. You have this stuff going on. You're looking in the mirrors. What's wrong with me, all right? Your mind continues to bother you about what somebody said 5 hours ago or 5 years ago, doesn't it? Why? Because when it came, I told you, I always explain this, and I can do it very quickly, because when it came in, it didn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't make criticize you. It doesn't feel good to somebody yell at you. It's just perfectly normal. I'm not saying it's not normal. It's very human. All right? That's normal. What's not normal and doesn't have to be is that when they stop yelling at you, that it keeps bothering you for 3 days. They're not yelling at you anymore. Right? Don't tell me they yelled at me. It bothered me. Okay, fine. It bothers you. It's over. If before they yell at you, you're fine, and then while they're yelling at you, you're not, then when they stop, you should be fine. What? They're not yelling at you anymore. Who's willing to dare? I dare you. Wake up. All right? It's not happening anymore. Therefore, it can't be bothering you. You get it? But it is. Why? Because your mind couldn't handle the disturbance that happened. And because it couldn't handle it, it tried to suppress it. It tried to push it away. It tried to make it not happen, whatever it was. And by doing that, you kept it inside of you. I've explained this to you 1,000 times. Anything that disturbs you, you don't want to feel it. You don't want to have had the experience. So you suppress it. It's a form of suppression. You push it away so you don't have to feel it, and it stays inside of you. And now you've stored inside your mind a negative. And therefore, if anything happens, you hear somebody yelling across the hall, right? 2 hours after this person yelled at you, right? And all of a sudden, it might as well be the person yelling at you again. Right or wrong? You hear something about the subject that the person was emphatically talking about 5 days later. You start feeling like you're getting yelled at again. Is that just me or anybody notice that happens? Okay? That's because you stored it inside your mind. Understand that? You stored the vibration that was uncomfortable to you even when it's over. I don't know why you would do such a thing. Except that nobody talks to you this way. I don't know why you would jump into the back seat and not keep your hands on the wheel. I really don't. I don't know why you would not say to your mind, listen, darling, yes, it was uncomfortable, but it's over. All right? Let's let it go. Let it go. Let it go. All right? Do you know that you can let it go? Do you know that it doesn't have to stay inside your mind? Do you know you can get so clear that you have a caustic experience with somebody, right? A friend or not friend, whatever it is, it's uncomfortable and it happens and they go away and you're not feeling so good, right? And then an hour later, 3 hours later, 2 days later, you see that person again and nothing negative comes up inside of you. Nothing. It is as if it didn't even happen. All right? You're open, you're clear, and all of a sudden you start realizing, what have I been doing? I've been storing negativity inside my mind. How many bad experiences have you had in your life? Pretty funny. How many boyfriends broke up with you? How many parents yelled at you? How many times you did not get to go to the prom when you wanted to? How many times did you blah, 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 blah? All right? You get all kinds of things. You have stored every single one of those inside of you. And what happens is now events unfold outside. They stimulate those things, and all of a sudden you don't feel so good. Okay? You have all these issues. So the problem is not the world. The problem is that we are not dealing with ourselves well. We have a mind, we have a heart. We're not taking care of them. Your body, most of you take reasonable care of your body. You bathe it, you eat. Most of you probably have a reasonable diet at this point. Society's really gotten a lot better about diet. We used to live on Twinkies and Coca-Colas. Right? So you know how I know they don't do it anymore? Because the company that makes Twinkies, Hostess, went out of business. Somebody had to buy them, keep them out there, right? But, you can eat junky food, can't you? It makes you sick. So you try to take decent care of your body so you feel better. Good, I'm proud of you. People used to smoke. Nowadays, people don't smoke as much. I hope that people don't do drinks and drugs and all kinds of junk that you can ruin your body. And when you ruin your body, it's not comfortable. And if it's not comfortable, it's hard to live in there. So I'm telling you, most of you guys, you wouldn't have found your way out here if you don't take reasonable care of yourself. Fair enough? But you don't take any care of your mind or any care of your heart. You don't even know you're supposed to. You don't even know you can. You leave the state of your mind up to the last person who yelled at you or was nice to you. Fair enough? You leave the state of your heart up to the last thing that happened that either opened or disturbed it. And then you have all this stuff from the past stored in there. So it comes back up, most of it negative. Why is most of the stuff I stored inside negative? Because that's the stuff you store in there. Right? I guarantee you right now, 5 people come up to you and say, wow, that was pretty good what you did. That was great. I was so impressed. That was beautiful. Right? That's nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. One person walks up to you and says, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm an expert in this field. That was garbage. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I want to know what you're thinking of when you walk away. The 5 who complimented you or the one who dissed you? Because you know darn well what it's going to be, and it's going to be going on for days. Okay? Do you understand that? So you store the negative. You store the negative, and then the mind becomes negative, and then everything turns into negative. And that's why you have to do all this work outside to try to get the world a certain way so that you don't have these disturbances in your mind. So what yoga teaches, what real spirituality in yoga teaches is, don't do it indirectly. Don't go out there and don't think you have to go out there and make the world and people and everything, weather, be the way you want so you can feel okay. Go inside and work directly with your mind. Work directly with your mind and directly with your heart. Just like you work directly with... You don't wait for somebody else to change your diet. You are responsible for your body. You are responsible for your mind. You are responsible for your heart. And you should take responsibility for that. So this is what real spirituality is about. It's about waking up inside and seeing the problem is not outside. The problem is inside. I've made a mess of my mind or allowed my mind to make a mess of itself. That's fair. You didn't purposely do it. By not driving properly, driving at all, I allowed my mind to become a mess, and I allowed my heart to be completely fickle. It opens and closes, and my God, who knows what's going on in there. Right? So spirituality says, why don't you do something about it? What the world says to you is, buy a new car. Get divorced. Have another child. Lose some weight. Get a facelift. Right? It sits there and says the answer is outside. Do something outside that makes you feel better inside. Yoga, true yoga and spirituality is not about renunciation. That's totally wrong. It is not about, okay, this group says go out and get this, get that, and so you can be okay. It's not about don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. That's renunciation. That's ridiculous. Yoga is about saying, if there's a disturbance inside of me, mental or emotional, or both, all right, I am going to fix it. There. Has nothing to do with the outside. Neither getting nor not getting. There's a thing of one of the deepest teachings in the Gita and in the ancient Zen tradition and so on is neither doing nor not doing. And that's the hardest for anyone to understand. Neither doing nor not doing. Lao Tzu writes about that, all right? And the Gita talks about the entire chapter of the Gita about doing and not doing, all right? People don't understand how you can neither do nor not do. It's called being. You're in here, you're being. I am in here, I am aware that my mind is causing trouble. I'm aware that my heart is causing trouble. What am I going to do about it? Nothing. I'm not going to go out there and relinquish the control of my kingdom inside by saying it's going to be dependent upon what goes on outside. All right? And it's not about not doing. I'm not going to refuse to act outside. I'm not going to never touch money or never get married. It's not about either doing or not doing. It's about being centered inside, noticing that your mind is a problem, your heart is a problem, and then doing your work inside. It's about inner work. So how do you do the inner work? The funny part about it is, I like to say it's not hard. Everybody argues with me. They say, what do you mean it's not hard? It's hard. Right? It's not hard compared to what you're doing outside, which doesn't even work. Look how hard people work on relationships. Then they get divorced. Look how hard people work to earn money. Then they invest with Bernie Madoff, and he makes off with their money. All right? All kinds of things go on. All right? The world just comes and goes. Right? You're building the state of your inner being upon this temporal thing that's going on outside. So it's very hard to get the world and people in it to be the way you want. You know it is. And they never stay that way anyways. And you don't even want the same thing all the time. So there is no solution at all in getting the world the way you want. None. Zero. It doesn't do a single thing. It just makes you neurotic. You have all kinds of tension and anxiety and worry and fears. Fear that it won't be the way you want. Fear that it will be the way you don't want, and so on. So it is easier to come inside and say, mind, oh mind, why are you talking about the past? I'm not making you talk about the past. You're doing it by yourself. Why do you keep bringing up what happened 20 years ago? You know, you said something stupid in 5th grade. Well, that's ridiculous. I'm 46 years old. What does it make what happened in 5th grade, all right? Or you get, my favorite is you get divorced. You had a terrible marriage. You had a nice marriage, then it got bad, and you got divorced 6 years ago, right? It still bothers you. If you see the person, you get all freaked out. If you hear their name, you get all freaked out. What in the world did you get divorced for? It's still going on inside of you. So you look at your mind, and you take some time to work with your mind. That's how I want you to look at meditation. I don't teach meditation. That's why. Because everybody's out there teaching meditation, and you're supposed to see blue pearls and white lights and go to higher planes and experience all kinds of things and have out-of-the-body experiences and become psychic. Oh, my God. Right? If I had my way, you would never get taught anything like that. You'd be taught as follows, right? Your mind's a problem, right? You like to fix it? You like to have a nice mind? What if your mind said nice things to you all the time? Wouldn't that be nice, right? If you're going to go give a talk in class, it says, you'll do good. You'll do good. You'll do like a coach. You'll do really good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Last time you had an issue, but you got so much better since then, right? You learned from last time. There's nothing wrong with learning. I like it. I love learning, right? Failure's a great thing. It lets me know where I'm weak, right? What if your mind talked to you like that? Wouldn't that be nice? Nice, pleasant little mind, okay? And you go out on a date instead of saying, oh, I shouldn't have said that, and he probably doesn't like me. I don't know if he'll ever call me again, right? It sits there and says, that was beautiful. That was fun, right? I don't care if he calls me again or not. It was fun. It was a thing in and of itself, and it was an enjoyable experience. I hope he had a good time, too. What do I care? I did. But seriously, why can't your mind talk to you like that? Wouldn't that be a lot nicer? It'd be a lot nicer, right? You got divorced. It was a tough time. But if your mind says, wow, that was a learning experience. Say that. I learned a thing or two about that. Thanks, guy. I don't want to see anymore, but thanks a lot. Thanks for the lessons. All right? I know a lot more about myself. I know a lot more about relationships. I know a lot more about a lot. You were a great teacher to me. It was hard. It was tough, but all kinds of stuff is tough. What if your mind talked to you like that? Wouldn't it be nicer? It would be. It can. And so to me, when you put time aside, and you can, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, twice a day, pretty steady for the rest of your life, just like you go to the bathroom and you take showers and you eat food. You do that pretty steady, you go to sleep. This is more important than all those things, right? You put aside some time to work on yourself. That's what I call meditation. Put aside some time to sit there and say, okay, mind, this is our time. This is our time to be together, all right? And why don't we practice making you more positive? Why don't we practice learning to not get lost in what the mind is saying? You're just a mind, okay? And you do mantra. Lately I've been telling people about mantra, right? Mantra's not some weird yogic Sanskrit Eastern thing. What mantra basically is saying, okay, I want to learn to play the piano. Start with scales. You understand that? If you don't start with scales, you ain't going to play the piano, all right? You got to be able to start with scales. And then you can make the scales more complicated, do shifts in different keys and all that kind of stuff. But you start with scales. And when you get really good at scales, you can try playing some music. Mantras like scales. It's basically sitting there saying, my mind's nuts. I have no control over it. But my mind is very trainable. You have a brilliant mind. You have the human mind. It's brilliant. It split the atom. Oh, come on, your mind's brilliant. It flew to the moon. The human mind did that. You have a brilliant mind. Teach it to say a mantra, right? What mantra? Anything you want. Om Namah Shivaya, Guru Om, love, peace, Christ, Guru. I don't care. Whatever you want. Let's just say you say, I used to when I did mantra in the old days, I would just say God. Right? All these mantras are names of God. I don't know which one to pick. I'll just say God. So I would just say God, God, God. You can say peace, peace, Om Namah Shivaya, whatever you want. All right? Just train your mind to say it over and over again. You ever notice how a song gets stuck in your head? You can't make it stop, right? I want the mantra stuck in your head. I want that going on in the back of your mind. Why? Because then when you go to give this talk and your mind starts going, oh my God, I'm so scared, you have a choice. You have a choice of listening to your mind be neurotic or listening to the mantra. And that's the most basic use of how you work with your mind. It's your mind, all right? It should be saying what you want it to say. So saying a mantra is equivalent to saying, you're going to say what I want you to say, all right? And repetition helps tremendously because the mind is repetitive. It learns stuff. And so you teach it that, and then as much as possible, you bring it back to the mantra. Just that will change your entire life. Do you understand that? You don't need anything more. Wait till you see what happens. If you were to do just that, everything would change. Everything would happen. But what about if I'm in calculus class and I have to do math? Should I do my mantra? No, you should not, right? You should do the math. What I want you to do is have your hands on the wheel. Stop taking your hands off the wheel and letting the car go wherever it wants. It's your mind. If you wanted to do calculus, have it do calculus. If you wanted to read a book to you, see, that's how I figured. My mind, and probably not the way you're supposed to read. I don't read a lot, right? If I'm reading something, my mind reads it to me. I don't know if yours does that. The voice in my head. Mary goes to the thing and this goes up. And it's saying it inside of it. Very nice, thank you. It's not. I hope it's not out there thinking about what happened 10 years ago. Has it ever done that to you? Ever read, some students you're studying, read 4 pages and realize you don't know a darn thing you read, not a single thing? You better go back and start all over again. Why? Because your mind was doing something else, right or wrong. It can do that, can't it? It shouldn't do that. I told you, you don't let your arm do other things, you don't let your leg do other things. Okay? What if your mouth just started saying things that you didn't want to say? You're like, stop it! No, you would never let it happen. All right? Why do you let your mind do whatever it wants? Because what it wants is just this stuff that it's trying to purify, to release the stuff you stored inside. You stored all this negativity. It's like indigestion, and it's trying to release it. And so that's what comes up, what bubbles up in your mind. So if you sit there and are doing math, that's wonderful. If you're practicing the piano, it's wonderful. If you're reading, that's wonderful. If you're driving your car and it starts thinking about what happened 5 days ago and this, that, and the other thing, or what, I like this a better one, right? What's going to happen 20 years from now? Oh my God, what if I can't get a job 20 years from now? Because I'll have my first job when I go to school, but I don't want to keep that job only for a couple of years. That's just my starter job. And then OMG. And now you're all depressed. By the time you were happy when you left the place you were going, by the time you got to the place you're going, and you're driving by yourself, by the way, there's nobody else in the car, you're totally depressed and freaked out. What did you do to yourself? Well, why are you doing that, right? Would you take a flogging stick and just beat yourself? No, you would never do that to your body. Why do you let your mind do that? It doesn't make any sense, does it? It does do it, doesn't it? Okay, I want you to be driving. It's your mind. You should be in charge. Okay? Now, you don't do that by suppression. You do that by guidance. You guide the mind. So like I said, if you're doing math, move it toward math. If it starts to go off, just bring it back. Meditation is not just when you sit down for 15 minutes. It's every minute of every day, period. You should be bringing your consciousness back to where you want it to be every second of your life. Do you understand that? Mayor Baba was a great master, or a fully enlightened being. He once taught his disciples, he told his disciples a really weird thing. It was so neat when I read it back in the 70s. I just read it, and me, the guru shouldn't be talking like this. He said, I want you when you go into town tomorrow not to read any signs. Try it sometime. And I said, wow, I can't even drive down a road without reading a sign. Right? What do I need to read the sign? I'm not talking about 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'm talking about the billboards and the this and the that. And you just get distracted, right? Your consciousness gets pulled and your mind gets pulled. And next thing you know, you can't drive down the street without reading a sign. Well, you should be able to. That's what they're teaching you, is you're the boss in there. This is your mind and your heart. Who else is it? It's yours. Okay? And don't you dare think your thoughts are your own. They're just spewing the sum of your learned experiences. All of your opinions, all your preferences, all your beliefs, all your hopes, all your dreams, all your rebellions, they're not yours. They're past experiences that get stored inside of you and are popping up all of a sudden. I don't want to be here. I just don't want to be here. Come on, let's go. Well, why? I don't care why. Well, okay, don't care why. Right? Because there's a reason. You know, something's going on that stimulated some past thing, and all of a sudden this noise is coming up inside of you, and you're getting uncomfortable. I don't want you to live like that. You are the boss in there. It's your kingdom. So what do? You put some time aside. Mantra's a good thing. And again, I don't call it mantra. Just train your mind. You train your dog. Roll over, right? Sit up. Fetch, all right? Train your mind. Shut up. Do math. Read nicely, okay? Stop complaining, right? You're the boss. You're the boss. Do not let it create your environment. You create your environment and create a nice one. You do think about the future, don't you? Come on, you think about the future. Okay, nothing wrong with thinking about the future, but let me ask you this. Does the future exist yet? No. Therefore, the only future you have is the one you make up in your head. Fair enough? Future is a mental thing, all right? Someday it'll be reality, but it's not now. So therefore, you're making it up in your mind. That's okay. I'm not telling you not to do that, but I want to ask you a question. If you're going to make up a future, why not make up a nice one? Because that's not what usually happens. You usually make up what you worry about. It's the funniest thing I ever heard of. I started thinking about what's going to happen 20 years from now. I'm freaked out completely. Well, since you're the one who made up what is going to happen, why did you do that to yourself? Right? Why not just make up a nice one if you're going to make something up? You think I'm kidding. I'm serious. Your mind is out of control. You don't have control over it, and it's creating hell in there. So what you do is you put aside some time in the morning and the evening, and that time is for one particular reason. I am putting aside this time to work on my inner state. Now, it is true for those of you who are into yoga, meditation, and so on, that there are beings that for thousands of years have done this, that have put time aside and said, we're not the first people to have neurotic minds, I guarantee you, right? To put time aside to say, I want to clean up my inner environment. And that's what all the techniques of yoga and the techniques of meditation and all these different things are taught to you. Like, for example, one of the most basic techniques of traditional meditation, right? And I'm not teaching you meditation. I said I wouldn't, right? But one of the most basic techniques is to watch your breath. I guarantee you, that's all you have to do. That's where I started. I started doing Zen, watching breath, meditation. Holy mackerel. Can't even talk about what happened. Right? You can read it in the surrender experiment. It says, just watching your breath? Of course. Of course just watching your breath can take you beyond. Why? Because right now you're watching your mind. And you're watching the state of your heart. And they're not so healthy. So let's not watch our mind or watch the state of the heart, at least for this period of time where you're sitting, and let's watch the breath go in and out. What does that do? It gives you a vacation from yourself. Right? All of a sudden, I'm not watching some neurotic mind just for 15 minutes or whatever. I'm watching this breath go in and out. And what you're going to find out, embarrassingly, is you can't do it. Guarantee you. You cannot sit there and watch your breath go in and out for 15 minutes, or even for 5 minutes, or even for 3. Isn't that funny? Because what's going to happen, you'll start watching it. You go, watch your breath. Why am I watching my breath? Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to be quiet. Yeah, but I got things to do. This is not, right? And you're going to have the mind's going to take you away. Next thing you know, you're going to be watching your breath. So you bring it back. Then they give you one more technique. You watch your breath, count your breath. I'm telling you, this is it. These are the most basic meditation techniques, and the only ones you need. You don't need no fancy stuff, right? Just watch your breath go in and out and go like this. 1, 2. Why count? It gave your mind something to do, right? It's hard enough to stop the damn thing. Give it something to do, and it'll keep you a little bit busy. And then what will happen also is all of a sudden you find, what I tell people is, I'm not teaching you meditation, okay? Don't count open. They count to 20 and start again with 1. Why? It's because you have to be there and not get lost. If you're doing it and you find out you're number 300, you probably weren't watching your breath. All right? So there's this simple thing of watch the breath go in and out. Generally from abdominal breathing is the best. Watch the breath go in and out and count it. Go back and count it. And what's going to happen is you won't be able to do it, but that's good. That's fine. It's like I can't play the scales right away when I sit down. Is that what you want to do? Sit down at the piano? Okay, I'll start with the scales. I can't do them. I guess I can't play the piano. That's ridiculous. You're playing the scales to learn to play the scales. You're watching your breath to learn to watch your breath. You're not sitting down to watch your breath because you can. You sit down to watch your breath because you can't, right? So there's no such thing as a bad meditation. So you sit down, you watch the breath, you count. If your mind wanders, which it will, let's get that straight right off the bat, it will wander, right? Bring it back. Let's bring it back. Well, where do I start counting? I start at 1. Don't try to think, where was I? No, that's mind wandering again. Just come back to 1. But then the mind will say, well, why'd you do that? Why can't even count? No, don't do that either. Just literally 1, 2, 3. Where's Mary? I don't. Oh, darn. 1, 2, 3. That's it. The whole purpose of this is to shift your consciousness off the mind onto your breath. So if it shifts out there, bring it back. Well, what good is it? The same as playing your piano, scales. If you make a mistake, do it again. You're going to get better at it, I guarantee you, until eventually you'll be able to do it. And you'll come and thank me for the rest of your life. The day you can sit there for 15 minutes, I'm not kidding. The day you can sit there for 15 minutes and count your breath and just nothing else happening, wait till you see what happens to your life. Right? For one thing, those 15 minutes will be the most enjoyable part of your entire day. You will run. You will run, get up earlier in the morning and you'll run in the evening to get to that point because you actually felt peace. You actually felt a relief from this absurdity that's going on inside of you. And you realize it can be nice in here. If it can be nice in here for 15 minutes, it can be nice for a half hour, right? Then you start playing with, well, what happens when I get up? Sometimes you get really nice. You get very high in meditation, right? Well, why doesn't it stay? I want you to watch. That's not a rhetorical question. Why doesn't it stay? And you're going to see how easy you give it up. The minute something happens the mind doesn't like, the mind sits there and says, oh, no, not on my watch. That's not going to go on. Or I told him not to do that. I told him not to do that. Whoa, okay. Trade off ecstasy for poop. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're doing this to yourself. No. And little by little, that's how I grew. Little by little, you say, I'd rather feel love. I'd rather feel love than have people like me. The only reason I wanted them to like me is it made me feel good. I'd rather feel good all the time, whether they like me or not. Okay? Guess what happens? God forbid you succeed, they'll all like you. Because you'll be the most beautiful person that walked the face of the earth. Every one of you around you. Do you understand that? But don't do it for that reason. All right? So now you're doing it. You're watching your breath. You're counting. You get up. You're going about your business. You make some toast. It gets a little bit more burnt than you like it. All right? No, I'm not kidding. I'm serious. This is how you grow. Just a little bit more. Toaster didn't pop up right. You didn't get it just right. Just a little bit more. And now you have to ask yourself, is that worth coming down over? I've always wanted to talk to you like this. We never get, right? Is that worth coming down over, that the toast got a little over toasted? Is that worth giving up this piece? The answer is no. Why would I give up? I mean, what do I care if the toast is a little toasty, right? And then you train your mind to say, oh, it's supposed to be burnt, crispy. It's supposed to be crispy. I like it like that. All right? Fine. It's over. You didn't come down. And you practice not coming down. Oh, boy, I look you in the eyes. I want you. I like you so much. I want you to be like that. I want you to see how beautiful it can get inside, relatively. And then I want you to practice how to get there. That's what these 15 minutes or mantra or breathing or whatever it is will give you. You find your own techniques, but there are plenty of techniques out there. Don't make a smorgasbord and get a stomach ache, right? I told you, a simple mantra and watching your breath 15 minutes twice a day. Wait till you see what that takes you. Okay? There's other stuff, but that'll take you a long way. All right? Now, can you not come down? Are you willing to not come down? And the answer is, over time, you'll start making some serious decisions. This is not worth coming down over. And eventually you'll make the great decision. Ready? Nothing is worth coming down over. If someone is standing in front of me and yelling or misbehaving, or the kid is throwing a tantrum in the middle of the supermarket, right? That's what's happening. Do I want it to happen? No. Is it happening? Yes. Do I want to have one problem, meaning what's happening outside, or two problems, what's happening outside and what's happening inside? Me, I'll take one. All right? I have no control of what's going on. I can work with it, but I don't have complete control of what's going on outside. But I am in charge. This is my kingdom, and I'm in charge of what goes on in here. And you just decide not to come down. How? Well, something's happening. It starts disturbing you. Does anybody know anything about that when things start disturbing you? Right? It starts getting weird in there. Start breathing. Watch your breath. You watch your breath while you're driving. You know that? You don't even get arrested. All right? You can watch your breath. I'll tell you when you know you're there. When the boss calls you in, Sally, I read your report. Come on, teacher, come on in here. I want to talk to you. Your mind starts, right? And you say, no, I don't think so. I think we can make it into the boss's office, right? And hear what he's got to say without coming down. Ooh, I like that altogether. So you breathe, you relax, you release, you go in, and the boss says, this is the finest paper I have ever seen. I can't believe you did this. Well, all of a sudden your mind was full of negativity, right? Would have drove you crazy. And you sit there, or even if somebody, I'll tell you, when you know you've arrived, somebody comes and they're criticizing you, right? You didn't do it the way it should be, and you're there, and sure, there's a part of your being that's uncomfortable, but the rest of your being is saying, if I can feel comfortable in the face of this person talking to me like this, I really got somewheres. I think I'll practice doing that while he's yelling at me. Can you be that conscious? That's what's called mindfulness. That's consciousness, awareness of being. You get to the point where your inner state is sacred. It's sacred to you. You understand that? It's a special thing. I have love. I'm not giving it up. I have peace. I'm not giving it up. I feel joy inside, enthusiasm, excitement. I'm not giving that up, period. If I have a job and I'm enthused about it, and the boss comes and criticizes me, it's not going to make me not be enthused about my job. There's no way I'm giving up the enthusiasm I have about a job because somebody criticized me. How about you? Ha ha ha, fat chance. Good luck. Don't you understand you're in charge of this? You do what's called letting go. You let go of these different disturbances that come up inside of you. You don't participate in them. You don't get involved in them. You let them go so that you get to keep. What I want you to do is achieve a state that's nice to you. Not what I say is nice, what you say is nice. It's a nice state. Well, why would you give it up? Why would you give up a nice thing? If somebody gives you, if somehow you earn $500, right? And you go and you've got your money, right? Do you just let it go out in the street and go away because somebody walked by? You protect it. You take care of it. You say this has value. Doesn't your inner state have value? Isn't that more valuable than $500? The reason $500 means anything is because you think you'll buy something that makes you feel good, right? Why would you give up the beauty of your inner state? So first, get something nice going on inside by doing this work on you, and then do not give it up for nothing. Don't let people steal it from you. Not by suppressing, by letting go of the disturbances that would distract you from a beautiful inner state. And what's going to happen, I'm talking about spirals, let's get back there. What's going to happen is you'll get strength because you're up. And you'll use that strength to be stronger and to let things go. And because you let things go, you stay up. And because you stay up, you're stronger, therefore you let things go. And that's called an upward spiral. You know what a downward spirals look like, don't you? Right? I was doing good. My boyfriend ran off with somebody else. I can't even get out of bed. I lost my job. I'm not enthused in anything. And in fact, I'm thinking about suicide. Man, that's a downward spiral. You know about that one? All right? It can get pretty dark in there, can't it? And it builds on itself, doesn't it? Right? You used to be strong enough to handle burnt toast. Now the toaster's thrown against the wall. It's like you go down. You can't handle, when you're down, you can't handle anything. Every single thing bothers you. You let something get to you, now let somebody else do something you don't like. You're twice as disturbed as before. And then you go down, you go down, you go down. I don't want you doing that. You don't need to do that. Instead, you develop these practices of working on yourself, raising yourself. The Gita says one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. Learn to bring yourself up, no matter what. Bring yourself up. The choice is not that I do something wrong or something wrong outside. It's, do I want it to be wrong inside? Because I'm telling you something. If you're nice inside, you'll be nice outside. You know, it's a really funny thing. Somebody who's completely contented and happy and filled with love and joy doesn't steal. They don't need anything. You don't have to tell them thou shalt not steal. Guess what? They don't even kill anybody. They like them. It's a whole other ball game, all right? You steal, you kill, you lie, you do things because you're not okay inside. And you're trying to make things happen outside that will make you more comfortable. Do you understand that? Like lying's a big deal nowadays. We see a lot of it, right? I'm not saying anything. So basically, something happens, somebody gets disturbed inside, and the next thing, whatever they just say, whatever they want to say, it makes them feel more comfortable. Know anything about that? Right? That's because people get disturbed inside. That's the only reason anybody would lie. It's the only reason anybody would hurt another person. It's the only reason anybody would take anything. Nothing, everything. It's because you're not okay inside. If you're okay inside, you don't need to worry about all this stuff. Because you're going to be beautiful. You're beautiful inside, you'll be beautiful outside. You're ugly inside, you'll be ugly outside. That's the way it works, right or wrong. So working on yourself is the answer to everything. It is the answer to your personal life. It is the answer to your relationship life with other people. It is a relation to your community life, of what you're bringing into your community. It is a relation to everything. If everybody would do this, wars would go away. All kind of crime would go away. I did 30 years of prison work with maximum security prisoners, inmates, all right? Every single one of them did every single thing they did because they weren't okay inside. Do you understand that? All right? There's nobody does anything to hurt another person if they're feeling love and joy and ecstasy and bliss. Are they? All right? They're doing it because they feel pain, because they feel left out, because they feel hurt, or whatever it is. Okay? So this work is a solution to everything, but it has to be done individually, and you start with yourself. So if I wanted to stress, I started with spirals. I finally got there. This upward spiral is a really nice thing to talk about, right? The concept that if something happens and it's disturbing, I'm not saying things don't happen that aren't disturbing. I'm not saying that, right? There are things that are disturbing out there, right? There are things that are scary. There are things that when they come in, they don't feel good. Let them go. Why? Because the alternative is ridiculous. Keep them inside of you and let them disturb you for the rest of your life. That's what's so funny with psychology. You have these formative years. Things have happened to you when you were young, so they're stuck inside of you. Therefore, no. Get them out. There's no super glue in there. You think there's super glue in there? There ain't none. It can go. They can all go. Everything can go. The only force inside of you that is holding anything inside of you that's not actually happening right now is your will. Do I need to repeat that? The only force inside of you that is keeping what happened when you were 5, when you were 8, yesterday, that's keeping it inside of you is you. You don't want to experience it, so you're pushing it away. You didn't want to experience it when you're 5. When it starts coming back up, it makes you all uncomfortable. You push it away again. It is your willpower, your will, your strength, your intent that is pushing these things away. Therefore, the highest spiritual state is to say, I don't want this inside of me, and I don't want my inner state to be dependent upon other people that aren't as conscious as I am and so on? Why would you let the most unconscious people in the world determine how you feel? What if you worked in a mental facility? All right, or serious mental facility, and people had major problems, and they yelled at you, they spit at you, they did weird things because they're sick, they're not well. All right, but this is your job, and this is what you do. Would you take it personal? I can tell you, you should see what George did to me today. Oh my God, I wasn't doing anything, and he spit at me. Well, of course you wouldn't do that. You're working in a facility where people are not doing well mentally, and your job is to put up with it and be well and so on. You understand that? That's how you should live out here, because it's all a mental facility. All right? All right? If people are not doing well, don't take it personal. You just walk through your life and you sit there and say, am I going to let people that aren't working on themselves, that don't have their consciousness as high as I've gotten mine, determine my inner state? And the answer is not a chance in the world, period. And you work on yourself and you'll realize you have the right to stay up. And you stay up, what happens? Something disturbing happens, it comes in. I'm not saying it's not disturbing. It is not sitting there saying, I'm a high being, nothing disturbs me. No. A high being lets the disturbance come in when it's happening and lets it go. Not, I don't want to get disturbed, and then you suppress it and push it away. It's more of a, there's a rattlesnake in front of me. It's rattling. That is scary as hell. It's scary, man. That's some scary stuff. Oh, there he goes. Wow, was that neat. Not, I'll never take a walk again. You hear me? Do not let the fact that you had a negative experience make you negative. Doesn't make any sense to you, all right? You have a negative experience. You actually should be positive about your negative experience. You say, wow, now I know what rattlesnakes are like. Now I know what it's like to be in a relationship and have somebody lie to me completely, and I think I understand them, and they were lying completely. Oh my God, was that educational? That's like doing 3 years of Psych 101, 102, 103, all right? I could never learn more. Thank you so much. That's how you should be. You hear me? Right? If it is uncomfortable when it is happening, it is a learning experience. If it is comfortable when it's happening, it is a learning experience. You are in here learning. You're learning how to stay high. All right? If you can handle the disturbing experiences, like I said, I'm getting straight. It does not mean they are not disturbing. It does not mean that it doesn't come in and feel yucky. It means that when it's done, it's done. I got a rule. I try to hold Mickey by it. I ain't close to perfect. If it's done outside, it's done inside. I don't tell him he can't have a problem with something, right? I don't get involved in his problem, right? But he's human, right? If something happens outside and then it's not longer happening outside, say, thank God. Thank God it's not happening anymore. All right, let's rejoice. Let's throw a party. Wasn't that fun? Okay? Don't sit there and be all upset because something upsetting happened to you. And then you carry it for the next 10 years of your life. Do you understand that? That's called letting go. And the Beatles sang a song, let it be, singing words of wisdom, right? You just let it go. Let go. Don't build this stuff inside. For right now, you're not going to be able to do that. But, you didn't know how to drive before you started. You didn't know how to do calculus before you started. You didn't know how to play the piano before you started. You didn't know how to play tennis before you started. You learn all kinds of stuff. Don't you? Learn this. And it will change everything. So you learn to let go, and what happens, like I said, things don't sap your strength anymore. You keep your strength up inside, and because you're stronger, you can handle different things. And because you can handle them, you're stronger, until eventually you never go down again. Listen to me. You know to the bottom of your being that nothing will ever happen, ever, that will ever take you down again. That's how strong you. People talk about what they call core strength when you work out, right? I'm building my core strength. This is your core strength, okay? To the core of your being, I don't have to struggle. I don't have to do anything. Yes, I've been through different things in my life. They came and they went. Everything else is going to come and go. Big deal. I'm fine. There's nothing that could ever happen that is worth going down over. Now you're ready for the deeper spiritual states. Once you're done going down, you can go up. Can I repeat that to you? Everybody wants to go into samadhi, wants to see God. Once you're done going down, the energies will start to go up by themselves. And I'm telling you, you will reach a point where all of a sudden you're just feeling joy for absolutely no reason. You wake up in the morning, waves of ecstasy are pouring through your being, right? And it happens many times during the day and so on. Well, it's kind of nice. And then eventually you'll go into the deep yoga states. You get comfortable enough with this beautiful energy, and it never goes down. It's always going up. It's just sometimes more than others. You start wondering intuitively, where's it coming from? It's nice stuff. Where are they coming from? And you start seeking the source of the ecstasy. That's where you go into the deep states, right? When it's flowing inside of you, and you just fall back into it like you would the springs, and you try to fall back into the source. That then takes you into what you all think of as the deep meditative states. But don't worry about that. That happens completely naturally in and of itself. The Shakti will go up, the Kundalini will go up, everything will go up. When it's done going down, they can't both go up and down at the same time. You understand that? But right now, everything takes you down. So, I hope you're hearing me. So don't ever put up with those downward spirals. Ever. Do not allow yourself to get in those states. Just stop them early. Use positive affirmation. Use whatever you need to do to pick the energy back up and commit yourself to, I ain't never going down again. That's all there is to it. It ain't worth it. All right? And then where do you see as the upward spiral starts? And I'm going to stop with telling you one thing that's terrible, right? Let's say you're going up. You're doing well. You're doing well in a good stage, right? Something happens. You don't deal with it right. And it starts to bring you down. Wait till you see how little it took to take you down and how hard it is to get back up. It's not even close, right? It could be like 1 10-second event or 5-minute event that you don't handle properly. Your energy starts getting all screwed up, right? And next thing you know is 2-3 weeks later, you can't get your energy back up. And when you start realizing that, I ain't going down again. It's not a game, right? I love my inner state. You love your inner state. It's sacred. You love your apartment. This is where you live. You live in here. You understand that? You live in there, don't you? Okay? Make it nice. So that's a beautiful way to look at spirituality and to build that upward spiral and to realize how beautiful it can be inside for every single one of you. It has nothing to do with anybody else. It's your work. It's your house. Jagrative.